Hey, what's up, Blue Devil Nation? Welcome to the first of many LTU Coaches Show here on the LTU Sports Report. And joining me today is the head coach of LTU football, Scott Merchant. Scott, thanks so much for taking a few minutes. I know Mondays are hard because you got a lot going on, and of course, trying to absorb what happened, of course, a 31-7 defeat here to St. Xavier, the Chicago area on Saturday. You've had a couple days already to reflect on it. What are your immediate thoughts about what took place?
I mean, I think there's a lot of positives in the game. I was really proud of how our defense performed. They really kept us in the game. We started two true freshmen on the D-line. We had a lot of new players playing. We had some guys out with injuries. So I thought they did an outstanding job in our defensive staff. They forced 4 turnovers and really gave us an opportunity to stay in the game. I think, the other thing that really stuck with me was we got down 14-0 quick. And, there's a couple different ways it can go when it gets like that, and our guys responded well, and it was 14-7 at half. We missed 2 field goals. It could have been 14-13. So they really, responded and played hard. It felt like we competed for all 4 quarters. We just had too many penalties, too many missed opportunities, and too many missed assignments against a really good team.
Yeah, exactly. I think that, outside of the occasions where you feel you're shooting yourself in the foot, there is progress being made, and we're all about shout-outs here too. So who are some of the players maybe that you thought particularly to deserve some extra recognition here?
Yeah, defensively, Brody Snyder had a phenomenal game. Junior linebacker from Bloomfield Hills. He led us in tackles. Sylvester Jones, one of our senior captains, also played a really, really good game. Marty Bunting playing in his first game. He had an interception. Xavion McDonald had an interception. And then on the offensive side, we felt like Ryan Schuster played a really strong game, but he did a great job pulling the ball down and running as well. And then our 3 interior offensive linemen, I know Coach O was happy with them. Our center, Ryan Barris from Chelsea, our left guard, Curtis Maxwell from King, and then our right guard, Bronson Sua, who's from Hawaii. So those are 3 seniors, and those are guys that we expected to play well and lead us, and they did a really nice job.
Yeah, absolutely. First opportunity you've had in a long time. I'm sure it was a little deja vu seeing Ryan, a quarterback that you coached in high school and saw him from just a young kid to what he developed into, and spent time really trying to get him here to be a part of the program, and obviously a great student, and really saw some leadership. And how did you feel overall about the play of Ryan on Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, I thought he played really, really well. I mean, of course, there's things he could have done better, but he made plays, he extended plays, had some great throws. Like I said, we have to do a better job of helping him out.
Yeah.
I think it was very telling, like if you saw how excited our sidelines were when he scored.
Yeah.
And then also there's a play where he hands the ball off and Devon Bentley bounces it, and Ryan gets out in front, and he's the lead blocker. And guys were going crazy because, you don't see a lot of quarterbacks want to mix it up like that. But I think, that's just a microcosm of how he's proven to this team. Why he's the starting quarterback and deserves to be. It has nothing to do with me or my relationship with him. He's our guy. He's earned that right. He worked his tail off all summer in the weight room. On the field, and then he solidified, he won the position in camp, and then he's just continued to get better.
If you happened to be at the game on Saturday, or maybe you were watching live, you noticed a gaggle of humanity towards, especially pregame, towards one of the end zones. Those were high school football players.
Yeah.
Guys coming in that obviously various members of the staff had invited and were there. What were some of the conversations that you were having with some of those guys?
It was great because we had about, I want to say 18 to 20 recruits and their families here on campus. So anytime we can get recruits on campus, that's a positive. Our admissions department had a whole program planned from like 9:30 up until I think 11:30. They brought them over to the field. So they were able to see campus. They were able to get information on academic majors, scholarships. They got some lunch and then came over to the field.
Take note. You recruits out there, you get an invite, there's food involved. You get fed. That's so right. It's not a wasted Saturday. It's a good way to
and free tickets.
And free tickets. Come and enjoy it. And no, it was great. It's great to see those guys, and they all were really engaged, and I think they really did see the camaraderie that was happening on the sideline, because it's a family that you guys are building. It seemed like, the guys were really responding to each other and obviously propping them up when they were making great plays. And some of those turnovers and things were super exciting. For them, it means the world to them to be able to do that. So that's in the rearview mirror now. Rearview mirror. We're moving ahead. A team that put up an historic 70 points over the weekend. The Illinois version of St. Francis, exactly. So, what do you know about them, and how are you guys going to go about, game planning this week?
Well, that's what we're doing today.
Yeah.
We're getting ready. We kind of put St. X to bed yesterday, and now Monday is, you move forward. It's a cliche, but it's true. Win or lose, 24 hours, you got to move on because nothing that happened last week is going to positively impact this week. So, St. Francis, they're picked to possibly be a playoff team as well. I believe they're in the top 25 in the country. Last year they played Lawrence Tech, and it was a close game. I think it was 14-12. Lawrence Tech went for 2 and didn't get it, and that was the difference in the game. But that was here. We have to go out there. It's a long drive. They have 3 brothers on their team. And these guys are definitely not the Three Stooges. These guys are all great football players.
It's like the Hanson brothers of football.
Right, exactly. The Hanson brothers, putting on some foil.
That's right.
So one plays quarterback, and he went crazy last week. Another one plays wideout. Another one's a phenomenal safety. I don't know what's in the water or what that family's doing, but all those kids are great football players. Yeah, anytime a team scores 70 points, they're doing something right.
Yeah.
We have to figure out how to slow down that offense. The quarterback is a run-pass threat. He's kind of the key to the whole deal.
Yeah.
Defensively, they're an odd front. They bring pressure from all over the place, different types of blitzes. So we really have to do a good job with keeping our head up and identifying where the pressure is coming from. And then, we have to be able to go on the road and, handle our business on the road. It's a little different getting in a bus and driving 5 hours and spending a night in a hotel and then getting up and playing. So, we just need to get better. Like, we need to improve on what we did last week. And, a lot of people say that, the most growth is from week 1 to week 2. So, I hope that's the case. We shall see, but we'll get back at it in practice tomorrow, and hopefully clean up things we need to clean up and improve, and take advantage of the opportunities we get on Saturday on the road, and we'll see what happens.
Just quickly, as a group, this set of captains you have this year. In how you lean on them to help you get your objectives.
Yeah, we just named 4 captains. So I mentioned Sylvester Jones, Devon Bentley, Nick Robinette, and Bronson Sua. They were elected by their peers. This year we only opened it up to seniors since we have so many new players and we really haven't been around each other all that long. And I pretty much left it up to the players to decide who wanted to lead them. But you and I both know that, like, if only 4 guys are going to be leaders on the team, you're not going to be a very good football team.
Right.
So, you know, we have a number of guys in the senior class or below that, you know, we need to take a positive leadership role on this team, even if they're not formally a captain.
Sure.
But, yeah, I mean, we need to be a player-led program. And right now I feel, and it's probably normal just because we're all new, but it's more coach-led right now because we're trying to install, you know, our program and, you know, not just our offense and defense and special teams, but, you know, the culture and the values and the way we want things done. And until everybody understands those things, it's hard for the players to lead. So hopefully, we're making progress there. And then eventually, you know, as the season goes on, hopefully the players take over because the best teams that I've coached, they police themselves. They lead themselves. The coaches don't have to ask them to do things or tell them to do things because they're all over it. Now our players evidently had a players only meeting the other day, and they watched film, and so that's a really positive sign there because we didn't ask them to do that.
Yeah. Well, they're getting great coaching, and I see it coming together. Good luck this weekend, and we'll just keep building this thing and working the next steps. And speaking of some of the captains, we had an opportunity to talk to one, and we did so right here. Okay, so now we're getting an opportunity to talk to Sylvester Jones, the senior captain and a linebacker for the Blue Devils. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
All right, well, let me ask you, what was the process of selecting the captains this season?
Well, Coach talked about it a little bit coming into camp that we were going to elect like 1 to 4, like depending on like how the votes panned out.
Yeah.
And then at the end of camp, there was like a Google form that went out and the players voted. And there was like a interview process.
Right.
So like you had to sit down with them and talk about, you know, the duties, like if you were elected, why you feel like you would deserve to be a captain and things like that. So
it's like an audition.
Right, a little bit like that. It was. It wasn't too uncomfortable of a conversation, but I had a lot of anxiety going into it. But it was,
it's a little stressful.
Exactly. It was okay. I got it. We did something similar like in the past too, but it was it's definitely an honor to be selected, and you know, just excited to rock out with those other guys too. The whole team.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm sure once you're going through the process, at some point you're like, man, I really want this. Like, I'm gonna be a little disappointed if this doesn't come to fruition. So I got to step up. How much does it mean to you that you have been selected?
It means a lot because last year as a junior, like I was on the ballot and I went through the interview process and I ended up not making it. So it was like, you can't be upset because it's like I didn't vote. Like I voted for all the guys that made it too, so you just have to like follow those guys. And so I definitely didn't take it for granted that it actually ended up being my turn this year.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna try to roll with it and set a good example for the younger guys and play my hardest every chance I get, you know, because it's the senior year. So
that's right. That's right. How many years have you been a part of the LTU program?
4 in, 4 out for me, but yeah, all 4 years.
Wow. Okay, so you've seen obviously a lot of comings and goings, a lot of change, a lot of different ways of doing things, a lot of different coaching techniques and things of that nature. Obviously, the first game was a bit of a roller coaster ride for everyone. You had a great game, though, led the Blue Devils in tackles with 6 solos, 6 assisted. What did you learn about your teammates in that game? This was the first time you guys really were doing it for real.
I learned that we have a toughness about us that at least early on in the season that we haven't had in past years, because we were down 14 zip pretty fast there because of some mistakes we made defensively. And our offense came back and got in the end zone for us, and it was 14-7 at halftime, and we just weren't able to put together as great of a second half defensively.
Right.
And offensively, you know, we know those guys are going to figure it out. But it was just, as far as in years past, like, we've seen some ups and downs, definitely. But I have a lot of optimism going forward in this season. I can't even lie to you. I'm excited to get back out there this Saturday.
Yeah, I think we all see it. Obviously, you know, this is living the dream. You know, getting a chance to play college football. So many young men don't get that opportunity, and you've had that, and you know, you're relishing now that it is your senior year. As far as like your football, personally, you're like football heroes. Who are the guys that you look up to when you think about football players and guys that you want to emulate? They can be now. They could have been when you were growing up. Whatever. Who are some of the guys that you really just love?
Well, growing up, I played running back, so a guy that I always really loved to watch was Eric Dickerson. I loved the way that he run. He was a real smooth guy, and I liked the way he could lower his shoulder too. But as a linebacker, like my statue of David, like the guy I really look at before games is like, I'd say like a Ray Lewis. Oh, yeah. That guy. I like watching Fred Warner, Roquan Smith.
Yeah.
We had some guys that came through here that sometimes I used to go back and watch some of their film too, like a Tommy Lappin.
Sure.
Like guys like that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Get after it, guys.
Yeah,
you know, at all times. What do you appreciate the most about this staff and the level of coaching that you're receiving?
It just really makes you feel like you're playing big time college football, because especially when you get like, okay, we met Coach Buller, he hands us his resume just like he's any other coach, and you looking at it, it's like, okay, this dude played in the NFL, he coached in the NFL, he coached at D1, like it's like, oh, and then Coach Nystrom as well. So it makes you, like as a player, you take these guys seriously, because you can look at their history and know that they win, and that everybody in football world that is taken seriously takes these people seriously. So it really just brings the most out of you as a player, especially having like a guy like him as a linebacker coach, because he's done it. So when he tells us to do something, like when he tells us that it's good, I know it's good, because I remember the first day of spring, he was like, come on guys, I need better. You guys supposed to be college athletes. You gotta make this.
That's
so
right.
When he gives us a compliment, it really makes us more confident, you know? Yeah. So yeah, I really appreciate those guys a lot.
Yeah, no, they're great, and I think I think the fruits of your labor are only going to be continually progressing as we move on through the season. On a personal note, and I always like to ask questions like this, like what's on your playlist right now? So it's game day. What are you listening to in your headphones that getting you hyped?
I listen to a lot of different stuff. Okay. I'm from the Genesee County area, so I always listen to a little bit of Rio, Babyface, E on a game day, get my head where I need to be. Okay. My roommate, Jaden Rembert, he's a pretty good football player. He put me on this new song by DC2 Trill called All Right. I was listening to that before the last game. Got me where I needed to go to.
It's important. Yeah. You know, it's important. All right.
Put some R&B in there too sometimes, some SZA. But
just depending on what your vibe is, you know, where you're going, what headspace you need to be in. You know, we need you linebackers ready to go, you know, from the jump. So, well, last question. Doesn't get any easier on Saturday. First road game of the season, the University of St. Francis in Illinois just put up an historic 70 points on their opponent that they took place. Now, I'm not sure exactly as to the exact quality of that opponent. However, 70 points is no joke. What's the preparation going to be like this week?
We're going to prepare, I would say just as hard, but we're going to kick it up a notch because we didn't get the result that we wanted. So we're going to take it up that much more. We're going to get after each other. We're going to bring the best out of each other. We're going to be ready to go. That's all I can really say right now. Like the sting is still there. So we just really want to get back out there and show that we're a winning football team, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Blue Devil Nation, know that these guys are going to bring it each and every week. Can't wait to see them back here for the next home game. All right, well, that is it for this week's show. Thank you so much for watching here, and we'll talk again next week.